That was crazy.
What a time.
Did she have those to begin with?
No.
Definitely not. There was
No.
zero.
Oh my
Oop.
god.
Oop.
Okay.
What?
Alright.
Oop.
Yes, sir. All right.
Up to
The uppy.
the
The
uppies.
uppies. Give us the uppies.
Uppies.
Give us the uppies.
I want uppies now.
That's crazy.
I love uppies.
All right. Wait, am I
What?
not? How do I? Oh.
Amazing.
That's wonderful.
Oh my
I'd-
fucking god.
Dude,
It's just been
it's whenever my fucking computer updates, it like fucks up my Discord. Like I don't know what the fuck
really
it is. It's really unfortunate.
beautiful.
Oh my god. Okay.
Hold on.
Okay, hold on. It's okay. We had to warm up. I'm just gonna stop the stream and then I'm gonna start it again. No, I'm not. It's fine. We're here.
Now just roll with it.
That's
Just go.
crazy.
Just
I was
send
gonna
it.
ask.
Full
For,
send.
I was gonna ask for tech support before you got into it, but okay, here we are.
Hello and welcome to another episode of The Elder Run. I am your cool and never make any mistakes DM, Faye Holiday.
Uh-oh.
Here with me are three of my players. One of them is in a re-education camp for killing a goblin, all right? It was a child goblin.
Child. A goblin
Her
child.
morals are being questioned and she's being re-educated in not a concerning way. Anyways,
Clearly.
the lovely Ragomarin, aka Redmaster, will now do the recap while I...
Hello, everyone. Welcome back.
Uppies.
Welcome-
Uppies.
Uppies. Uppies.
All right, we got all the bits in.
Okay, here, yeah, we got a recap, we got all the bits. It's funny still.
Yep, exactly.
100%.
So let's go ahead and remind ourselves what happened last session, because we met a very not so epic captain man, a little adventurer man,
Con
Conrad the Conrad was the
Is it I think it's Conroy, isn't it?
I'm pretty sure it's Conroy.
It's Conroy.
Con man. I don't know.
We
Kanye.
kept calling him Con Man so much.
I mean, you guys can have a nickname for him if you want. Maybe don't say it to his face. We'll see.
We already have. He ignored it.
Yeah.
We've essentially gone out
does sound like
and we have met him. This was a big point. We arrived in the town, in the area, so to speak, and we caught him walking out. Along with him, his numerous fans of the area. Many people love him, so much so that poor Agatha got scammed out of her armor for signing it.
She got fleeced. That's
So
crazy.
sad.
I remember I was just like, I'm just gonna ask, cause why not? And then I did, and she said yes, and I'm like, that's crazy. And then
That's crazy.
that's crazy.
Did you also tell me she got fleeced? And I was just like, we're not gonna share the info.
So after that, we made our way to find some lodging, explore the town, figure out the next steps here. Went to the marketplace, which is a very fun experience, as it is a very bustling market center, bustling center for trade. And Agatha found new armor. That was fantastic. Following that, we see, now this is the only part that I think I'm fuzzy in, because I know towards the end, I know we went out to the forest. We went after Con Man because he was slaughtering some goblins. The goblin slaughter was not fun. Tried to stop him. Ran into a bit of a wildfire area, which we made it through, thankfully. I think some players in this lobby cheated getting through the fire. That's just a me opinion. Something about drinking mysterious liquids in a room, if I recall.
That's okay. It's okay. It's fine.
Definitely not so salty about that. No, not at all. But yeah, we ran to Conman, who was dealing with the goblin issue.
That he made
and after he had fled, after he had retreated back, assigning us to take care of the rest of the goblins, we proceeded to try and make our way out, only to be stopped by the goblins. A goblin child tried to jump Agatha, to I guess reclaim any sort of honor.
It was a very successful ambush, by the way.
Very successful ambush. Agatha completely caught off guard. Crazy that. And so, in response, because clearly Agatha was not handling the situation well, Melora decided to blow up the child with magic.
True.
And so that child is no longer with us. He has been turned to dust to fuel the fires burning around us.
And then Agatha wrought wild magic surged a fog cloud, and they escaped out the back of the tent.
Yep.
I forgot about that until just right now.
That's
funny.
It was very funny.
And that's where we leave off currently. We escaped the goblin massacre and Agatha's utter destruction at the hands of a singular goblin child.
True.
Only bad news is I did not get new armor. I'm still wearing my current the acid hole in it armor, but now because of Melora earlier, I got it signed. So potentially I can get this shit out of here once the good armor comes in.
True.
Potentially, you said.
Potentially. Hoping, crossing my fingers. Right.
Realize, dear viewers, that is not a confirmed guarantee.
Yeah.
Really hope.
We're going to see where that goes. But let us start where we ended off. You guys had just finished up with the goblins. I'm just going to say that. And you guys did escape the wildfire. I don't think you were able to put it out, but it's not gonna go too far. You're fine. And you guys were on your way back. You guys were back at the on the road back towards Ordelin. I believe that's the town we're at, right? Ordelin? Yes. Okay. And you guys are on your way back to Ordelin to talk to Trevor. Pretty sure. Trevor, the guy who was slightly easier to talk to at the thieves, or not the thieves, but the Fighters Guild. As you guys are walking back, how's the mood? What are the vibes like?
Still trying to process the fact that we have blown up the child. We're still not over that.
Yeah. Same. Agatha has not said a single word since that happened.
I hope no one has said a single word since it happened.
Probably just kind of had the consensus of, okay, let's go back at the dead silence.
Right.
Yeah.
Probably just like talking shit the whole way back though, and everyone's just like, nope.
No. Okay, wait. Do I need to make a new room?
Do you see the reason why I wanted tech support before we started? Again?
Yeah, hold on, let me refresh.
It also says get help and support on the right side. I can't get to it.
Hold on, I'm just gonna send you guys a new link. I think I copied that. Hold on. Excuse me, can I? Okay, copied. Huge. Okay. Sorry guys, this is a rough start. I don't know.
It's been a rough time here.
Try to click that, see if you guys get in my room or not.
Nope.
We're
We're going back to the same room.
What the fuck? Here,
Do you guys see this?
let me click.
There?
Oh, I
Oh,
see
that's for
that.
somebody.
Oh,
Okay, so
I
I think
do
it's
see
just
that.
the way it is.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's
okay.
fine.
Oh, it's a new like. Oh.
Oh.
It's like a new update. Interesting.
Oh, very fun. I hope it didn't fuck up my OBS. Hold on.
That's crazy. We've been throwing
Okay, no, it's
dice.
fine.
You-
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I see it.
please.
It's coming up on stream. We're good. We're good. We're good. We're good. We're good. We're good.
So do we just keep the things forever now?
The what? The what?
Like the rolls? Oh no, they go away eventually. Okay. I was like, oh, that's nice that you get the like it just stays on the side there. But
Yeah.
never mind.
It's all right.
I don't like how tiny the dice thing is now, though.
I can't control any of this. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I was just putting it out.
Just airing it out there to the world for someone to hear.
Okay.
I can't even read my own dice.
It's fine.
It's fine.
Okay.
That's what.
Yeah, so you guys are walking back. Vibes are strange. Everyone's in a weird
Awful.
place here. And you see somewhat of a commotion up ahead. You see, like, a bunch of people that are all in, like, plate armor.
That's crazy.
And they are all speaking to Conroy Goodfellow. As you can kind of, like, walk up. You can definitely see him towering over the rest of them, as he seems to be talking with his helmet on towards them. They are talking to a man who's dressed in like a lot of like very slick sort of or sleek sort of black robes, and you can see he's kind of like just very finely ordained. And next to him is this massive, not massive, but like very like pronounced figure. This person, first of all, has large black feathery wings coming out of his back. He's in full plate armor. It's impossible to look at his face or anything like that. In fact, his helmet doesn't even have a visor that he can like put up. And he is he's standing next to the man who's sort of dressed in the fine robes. His armor is sort of very worn. It's seen battle. This big not creature, but this big sort of humanoid that's next to him. I say big, but this guy's like maybe like 6'4" or something, like tall, and just covered in plate armor. What do you guys do? There's about like 30 fully armed and like armored paladins from Selgant with them. You can tell like they all have the face sort of visor on their helmets, and they're all like in like sort of a three like they're traveling along the road in like columns of like or rows of 3, and it's like all the way down until you get to like around the 25 or whatever, however many bastards are here, but they are like following behind them like a regiment.
Okay. I think. Okay. Is this like anything like identifiable?
I mean, you can tell that these guys are definitely from the church. Like this is like these are like royal guards from the capital. And just kind of put it to in like perspective, like for like Thorn and Rago who have been to Selgant, you would see like one of these soldiers like they will like patrol in pairs of 2, and like 2 of them will be responsible for like most of like basically an eighth of the town. Like that's how often you don't see them very often, especially not like 20 or so in a line. This is
So you're saying they'll smoke us?
it's alarming for sure. Like it's like that, like that's probably enough to take Ortolan. Like those people could probably like maybe it's a fight, who knows? But like there's some powerhouses there, especially like you don't know these figures that they're talking to. They seem to be important.
Crazy.
Can we get
I'll-
close enough to kind of overhear?
I think you guys are you guys riding your horses?
Yeah, because we put them outside. Yes.
Yeah.
We were.
So you guys are on your horses right now. So it's gonna be. You can try. It's not gonna be easy with bunch of fucking horses.
Yeah.
There's a lot of eyes
Fucking
over
war
there.
horses. Okay.
I'm not saying it's impossible, but this is Conroy is talking to them, so you don't know. You just don't know the situation.
Okay. Is the way into the city blocked by all these guards?
blending us
and
for
whatnot?
You probably go around like through the forest and stuff if you really wanted to.
Okay. Do not bite me, cat. Sorry. One was getting a little too
It happens.
interested.
Oh, and Conroy is by himself.
By himself, surrounded by all these men.
Not surrounded. It seems that like he maybe noticed them walking up behind him, like as he was moving along, and like, I mean, at some point these two entities meet. Maybe he came up on them, or they came up on him. But it seems like they have met in the road because he was on his way back to Ordelin when he left you guys.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, we can. I guess if we want to try and kind of like
Walk up and be buddy with Conrad.
flank, yeah, kind of like go up and support in some way, since we are kind of. We already talked to Trevor anyway, and Conrad we've attempted to make aware, so yeah, we can try and flank. Is what.
You do remember that Trevor was saying that they were expecting trouble with the church, and then that's why they needed Conrad.
Oh, that's a
Yes,
lot of
exactly.
people, then.
So that's why it's like.
Damn. Damn, we're really Team Conrad here. Sad.
I mean, maybe not Team Comrade, but Team, whatever the fuck going on.
Temporary
Team Conrad, okay.
bet.
Okay, yeah, sure. So we can, I guess, if we want to come up behind on the war horses and approach Conrad's flank as well.
Yeah, you guys kind of like start walking up or like start riding your horses up, and as you do, the sort of the lines of like these paladins sort of like notice you coming up, and they all like very militarily, like very like rehearsed, they all move to the side in like a bump, and they all move back in kind of like a very like uniform way to allow you guys to sort of approach these two figures talking to Conrad if you want to go through the road.
Okay.
So that puts us in the middle of all these paladins.
I mean, you could walk around them, but it would be like strange to do that. I mean, you know, because you'd have to like go off into like
I'm just like
the side of the
I'm just,
road.
like,
and it'd
asking
be-
if that means like we're in the middle of all of them.
Yeah, you would be.
Okay.
I mean, once you get up there, maybe you could like turn around over to Conrad's side. I don't know how you wish to do that, but
No, I was just curious where that put us. So.
yeah, you're kind of like walking up, and I imagine like they're in like rows of 3, so there's like two paladins on your right for each one on your left, and they just kind of move to the side of the road, and they all like you can't like see any of their facial features through their visors are pretty solid except for like the eye holes, and they don't really move their heads too much. If you didn't know any better, you'd think that they were like animated suits of armor. But if you couldn't see, like, you can see like some of their flesh, like these are people, but their movements are they seem very well trained. I'll say that.
Great.
And as you sort of come up, the armored figure sort of turns and looks to you guys, and you can tell that like his eyes sort of fall on each one of you, and then he stops and he kind of like takes a step back to like allow you guys room to engage with the other people there.
Okay. So wait, he was the one talking with Conrad, or someone else?
The robed figure was the one talking. You couldn't
Robed
tell
figure,
if this
okay.
figure was talking or not because his helmet it's like this full black helmet that's very sleek. It kind of looks like an armet.
Yeah.
But those have like visors that go up. This one, like its visor is closed. And his helmet has like little slits, so you can almost see his face if you try to look in there, but it's just kind of like too dark, especially with like the sun kind of coming down, I think, right? Because it was kind of like
Okay.
evening when you guys were coming back.
Okay, and it was him or the robed figure that had the wings that you mentioned?
Him, the armored figure.
Armor figure. Okay. Okay.
And sort of as you come up, you hear Conrad saying, "Well, I'd like to see you try." And then the robed figure looks over and says, he kind of like looks at each one of you and then, and is this your reinforcements, good fellow? And he goes, "Haha, yes, in fact, these are actually some of our newest recruits in the Fighters Guild. Men of my own arm. And women, sorry." And this guy looks over and he reaches out a hand to whoever's closest and says, "I am Regis Volith, Bishop Inquisitor to the High King. This," and he kind of like puts his hand over towards the armored figure, "is the King's right hand." And with this, both you, Rago, and you, Thorn, would know not necessarily who, but you know that the king does have someone that is called his right hand. But all the stories are like this person murders is like basically wherever he shows up, pretty much everyone dies.
Oh, nice. Good.
Like it's the legends about him is like they call him the king's red right hand because it's said that he's drawn so much blood for the king that it could fill the oceans around Selgon.
Damn.
So like this is
hard.
like not a good person to see, but there aren't that many accounts of him. Some people, like, I mean, it's not like no one survives to tell the tale. Like, there's been stories run rampant, but the only thing that, like, you know for certain is, like, wherever he does show up, most of the people die. Like, this is who they call in when things have gone wrong.
Nice. It's okay. Why didn't you character anyways?
Okay, cool. I guess I feel like I'd probably be like closer. I guess I'll take his hand.
I feel like you're the one that's more distinguished to talk in conversation with him than me or Thorn.
He shakes your hand and
Ignorance is bliss.
is your Watcher emblem visible?
Yeah, it would always be visible.
He looks down and he says, "Oh, a Watcher. We haven't seen your kind in a long time. I didn't know you still operated."
Yes, we are always out and about, just maybe not in the places that you expect.
Well, it's good to see a reasonable, and he kind of like looks around, person amongst all of you. I'm sure perhaps our conversation would benefit someone reasonable to talk to. Conroy says, "Nothing reasonable about it, friend. Ordelin is under the Fighters Guild's wing. You can turn around and march your soldiers back to Selgond. We have no need of you there. You've offered no aid to us, and frankly, I don't see any reason why we should be hospitable to you at all. And Regis sort of like, you can see like he's frustrated visibly. And he says, is that what you think here? And he kind of like narrows his eyes, and then he goes, Are you? And he looks towards Rago and Thorn. You must be the folk duo out in let's see, what's the other one called? Fucking what Arabelle.
Yep.
He's like, are you the folk hero duo from Arabelle?
Yes.
You could say that we are.
Well, pleasure to meet you guys. I had no idea you were affiliated with the Fighters Guild.
We came to make a visit of sorts, and during this time we feel it appropriate to aid in the Fighters Guild endeavors happening in the region.
Well, it has come to our attention that the Fighters Guild has desecrated a sacred church of our holy capital. We're going to investigate these claims, although Conroy says that it is... apparently we aren't allowed in Ordelin, which is news to me, and I expect the king as well.
Well, he has a very ornate fondness of this location.
The king holds all of his territories in very high regard. Although, it will be pertinent to know that we have received no call for aid from the Lord of Ordelin in, well, I actually checked the records myself since its founding. So to hear Mr. Conroy Goodfellow claim ownership of the whole town is quite alarming news. Wouldn't you agree?
I would agree, but as you can tell by Conrad's stature here, he is not one to make decisions like that on his own.
Oh, I am quite knowledgeable about the blood child of the Forsaken town to the north. I know all about you, Conroy. You grew up a slave fighter to the Thieves Guild, and you were liberated, not by the Fighters Guild, but by me personally. I remember you as a child. I broke you out of there. I cannot believe that this is happening. This is absolutely unheard of. And frankly, the closer I get to your town, the more alarming tales I hear. And he kind of like looks over to you. You four have been to Ordelin. Tell me, what is the state of the town? Can you in all conscience tell me it is the paradise that Conroy believes it to be?
Ordelin's the merchant town, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it is operating still as it has. Its markets are very much alive and lively. I would say that since Conroy has been active, let's just say that there's a bit more of a fan club now for him, which personally I don't agree with.
Very, very concerning. And tell me, Conroy, are you working for the Lord of Ordelin? He goes, why would I work for that stooge? He does nothing in his castle but tend to his daughters, of all things. And you can see that Regis is like, nothing that is coming out of Conroy's mouth is putting at ease Regis in any way. And it seems that the longer he stays here, the more determined he is to go to Ordelin.
Okay. Agatha will, I guess, go ahead and speak up and go, I'm not sure what stories you've been hearing, but what I do know is Conroy here has been defending this town from various different attacks that have, or threats that have been threatening this area. I'm not sure what your concern was, and I understand your business here, but the hostility is not needed.
Our Royal Highness the King has been tolerating the Fighters Guild due to their contributions to our westernmost towns. This has been satisfactory. It has given him a lot of ease on his mind, and therefore he tolerates their existence. Simply tolerates. He shoots a glance at Conroy. Although, if the Lord of Ordelin or the town of Ordelin needs help, we appreciate any help from the Fighters Guild, but the king should be made aware of this, or at least his steward. This is absolutely borderline treason. I cannot believe if I go to Ordelin and I find even a hair out of place, the Fighters Guild will have to pay. And he looks at Conroy. It could be through gold or blood. And as he says blood, the armored figure, his hand goes to a sword at his hip. And you can kind of feel that like this is like fucking this is not a good situation to be in right now.
Okay. Okay. Is the figure like goes for his sword? Agatha's gonna like put her hands up and go,
Whoa, whoa, whoa. No need for blood. I don't know what exactly your men entail to do, but there's no need for a slaughter. These men and women have been working hard and fighting even harder to help this town out. It would make no sense to kill them all while they have been doing what they can. I understand that you have grievances with them, but at the very least, talk first before resorting immediately to violence. I can't imagine the lord of the town would appreciate that.
And I kind of like as soon as you speak, the plated figure, like you can hear it clink as his eyes just like his head just kind of like darts to you very quickly, and then the longer you talk, you can see his hand kind of goes off the hilt of his blade.
goes off.
Yes.
Okay, good.
And then Regis sort of sighs, says, "Despite my reputation, the last thing I ever want for the people of this fair country is blood and violence. Although, I must say, talking to meatheads like this one does not give me any optimism for the future. But those are reasonable words. I will agree that no harm will unjustly befall any civilians in town. But this desecration of our holy church cannot go unnoticed. Not in the slightest."
Then, if you truly want payment of some sort, have it be gold. Slaughtering the people there, or even, frankly, doing any sort of act of violence will truly only enrage the Fighters Guild more, and if you really are attempting, she'll kind of like narrow her eyes, and she's like looking between the right hand and the bishop. If you're truly attempting to garner some level of peace here, then I'm sure you understand that.
Very well. These four will accompany me to see the Lord of Ordelin. We will discuss these matters with him, and I promise after that we will leave. Assuming the Fighters Guild doesn't try anything. Conroy you can't really tell what his facial expression is underneath his helmet, but he just sort of stands there for a moment, and then he reaches up and he takes off his helmet, and you can see his hair is like perfect still, and he goes,
Of course.
and he goes, "All right, you have my word that I will not kill any of y'all." He kind of like points in their general direction. "But I want you out of my town by tomorrow." Regis sort of, he kind of like bites his lip a bit, and then he says, "Firstly, not your town. Secondly, very well. Whatever gives us progress. Spilling your blood here, honestly, would give me quite a bit of pause. I thought I did a very noble thing, getting rid of the Thieves Guild's criminal activity to the north, even saved a child forced to fight his whole life, only for him to... seems he reveled in it. You can take as many lives as you want, Conroy, but if you ever touch a hair on any of my men, I won't even come back personally. We'll just send a holy arrow into your town and build a new one on the ashes." And then you kind of just, "Men, move out. You four, with us."
Agatha's just gonna kind of like look in horror at him and his declaration, just kind of scowl a little bit, but she will follow.
They kind of like walk up, and you can see they kind of like all of them kind of walk past Conroy because it seems like he's just like kind of like thinking. And then as you guys are like walking down the, do you follow the Regent?
Probably like look to everyone else, but generally
And the
I
bishop.
probably would go ahead and do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would follow.
The as they start walking forward, the paladins following behind walk in front, and as soon as they kind of like get past Conroy, they go back into formation. As you guys sort of walk away, and you can see Conroy sort of just turns around and watches you guys walk, and you can see he puts his helmet back on and sort of just starts walking slowly behind you guys.
Are we like right next to the bishop?
Yeah,
Okay.
he would have signaled you forward.
Okay.
And then as you walk, just silently, the armored figure walks alongside you guys. Although he kind of like trails behind your party
Mm-hmm.
and just sort of walks. Regis looks at you four and says, "Can't stand that man. Truly, what's the world coming to?" So,
Echo's gonna kind of probe and ask,
Pardon my ignorance, as like you said, it might have been a while since a watcher's been here, but is the method of the church for their enforcement truly to eviscerate towns and any innocents living within them, as to just build a new one? That seems-
absolutely not. Although violence is all they understand. All these.
is he lying? Is he lying?
Hey, give an insight check.
Okay. Hold on. Where's my dice? Of course. Of course. Okay, it was a nat 1.
Yeah, he seems to be telling the truth.
Okay, great.
At least he thinks he's telling the truth.
Okay,
That's
okay.
crazy.
Wild. Okay.
He says, the holy, the king's crossbow, or the king's ballista can certainly do something like that. Though we've never properly used it against any standing force or anything like that. Honestly, I don't know the whole situation with the Fighters Guild. I'm more concerned about if there are problems in Ordolan, why hasn't the Lord said anything? In fact, Ordolan's always been very quiet to His Majesty. And frankly, I'm quite perturbed by that. Don't you find that strange? even in the slightest. We saw the fires here. We saw goblins scurrying about, but they seem to be unarmed. If truly there was a goblin war camp, which is what Conrad told us, that this should have been a job for His Majesty's army. We're simply right down the road. Certainly we're more than a match for some goblin raiding camp. I appreciate the fighters' concern, but it's more concerning that we don't get any reports of any sort of mismanaging. Any reports we get out west towards oh my god, I've already forgotten it. Arabelle, simply put out faster by the fighters guild before we can even dispatch anyone to deal with it. But to know they're this close to Orderlin honestly gives me pause. Especially due to the Lord's silence. For since the founding, surely they've had issues. I find I have a bad feeling about that Lord.
Quick question, DM, because my notes aren't fucking. I don't know why I didn't write this shit down.
Yeah.
When we were talking with Trevor, I know he had mentioned the other town that the church had like gone in and like broke up that criminal activity with the Thieves Guild, and it sounds like he was referring to that earlier. Did he mention like what was why the fucking why the church hadn't like come and done anything with the reports? I do not recall.
He didn't mention anything about like the like any of the logistics of like what happened. It's just that town had always been like that, and then I guess one day it finally got word to the king. At least the way this bishop is painting it is that as soon as they got word, they went up there and broke it up immediately. Mm-hmm. But the issues with that is like in between the capital and that place, Orderlin's just like barely off to the left. It's like here, I can actually bring you guys over to the big map, and I can show you where that other. So you guys are in Orderlin, which is right here.
Yeah.
Selgant, the capital, is down here. You guys have been spending most of your time in Arabelle and up here at the Spiderhaunt Woods and whatnot. All of this forest here actually extends down to Orderlin.
Okay.
And then you guys, like, the Goblin camp is over here, like, kind of like up this way. Sort of like north of Yon a bit. Yon is just a very small fishing village. It doesn't get too much traffic. Well, actually, Thorn, roll me a history check real quick.
Okay. What's my history? That one. Okay. $18.
Okay. So you know that Yon is mostly used as a smuggling port. Because most of like all of the like actual like proper trade channels go through Selgant, because it's literally just right there, right? So the way that this isn't actually the Queen of Hearts sort of like wheelhouse. This is the other Thieves Guild, which you would be somewhat under known. The Knight of Diamonds, which is basically pirate kingpin. He's like they're all pirates. Awesome. So that's where he smuggles in any sort of illicit goods that he gets, and then it goes through Orderlin, and then it kind of gets like he kind of like cleans his money there. And then from Orderlin is where sort of all that stuff kind of goes out from. But the place in question is Hillsfar up here. So in between Ordelin and Ordelin is in between Selgant and Hillsfar. So it is strange that Regis had gone all the way up here, presumably gone through Ordelin, and never heard that they ever had any problems ever, right? It is strange. But not something that anyone would, like, think to ask about, right?
Makes sense.
Okay.
So, and then apparently this Hillsfar place, which was already, like, this is apparently where Conray's from. According to Regis, he was, like, basically a child gladiator here. Until
Explains a lot.
the king broke everything up.
Okay. Yeah, I guess in response to his questioning of why the lack of communication, or actually, wait, when Fighters Guild has been occupying Ordelin since, I forget if we were told that or not.
You never asked that, no.
Never asked? Okay. So
They've been in Arabelle for... You do know, Thorn and Rago would know that the Fighters Guild have been in Arabelle for probably like 10 years or so. When they expanded to Ordelin, that's not really known.
Okay. Don't bite me. Sorry. Cat just tried to go for my arm because he has a problem. Alright. Yeah, so in response to his questioning, I was like a little unsure, especially after his mentioning of, I guess, like essentially like a weapon of power that's just there. They just have that as like a threat. She'll say,
Well, there can be some level of intimidation that does come when you have someone of such intense power occupying all the lands. Every now and again, someone just wants to step up to assist without getting the higher ups involved, if you will. It seems like the Fighters Guild has been just helping to manage that in the meantime.
You know, that's what we thought for a very long time. Until I realized that we have no records from Ordelin to speak of. Tell me, how can His Majesty be sure that that's the case? When we have no reports, every report we have from Ordelin is all is well. Yearly report, all is well. No need for His Majesty's support. Although, apparently, Ordelin's been using the Fighters Guild this whole time with no mention of it. And only to hear that they've desecrated the church of all things? Why would they do that? I have a bad feeling about this Fighters Guild.
Well,
But
no disrespect.
we must first go through the Lord. For it's the Lord's job, not the Fighters Guild, to report to His Majesty. So we will start there. And I'll have you four to bear witness that I am at least a reasonable man. And you seem somewhat familiar with the Fighters Guild, at least Conroy believes so. You should have their interests somewhat at heart, and I can at least expect you four to behave amicably. Now, if I were to show up at apparently the new Fighters Guild base, he says it with disgust, I'm almost certain there'll be a fight, and frankly, if there's no problems in Ordelin, I wish not to create any. As far as the King's Ballista, he would never use it on his own people unless he was protecting the kingdom at large. And even then, it would have to be a city full of infidels, city full of Traitors. Which I doubt. He looks at you four immediately. And I need to ask you guys really quick to tell me, do you think that the oh wow, that's a shitty ass roll. Do you think that the do you think that Ortolan is, by what the king, what the church would think, a town of infidels and possibly traitors?
Probably not.
I'm gonna go
No.
with no.
Okay. He kind of like looks at you guys for a while and says, well, if all goes well, hopefully it should, then simply we'll get our answers from the Lord and we'll be on our way. Although, frankly, the Fighters Guild will need to find a new place of business and repair, at the very least, the damage they have done. And I will be sure to oversee the whole project. And as they say that,
You cut out. I don't know.
I burped. It's fine. Don't worry, you didn't miss anything good. As you guys arrive to Ortolan, you can see that the guards are sort of like looking around, and then you can see that all of the paladins here that were checking people coming in and out, they actually like sort of abandon the gate, and they actually fall in line with the Inquisitors battalion.
So, okay, so there's a certain level of church presence here.
There was when you got here. Give me an insight check.
Okay. Bom, 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 bom. What is my insight again? What the fuck, man?
What the hell?
Yeah, sure.
Oh my god.
As far as you can tell, yeah, there's always been
Oh, okay,
church
okay.
present here. Honestly, that doesn't add up at all. That's crazy. But yeah, no. Fuck, they have a church here. You'd imagine so.
That's
so
crazy.
strange. Oh, interesting.
Agatha's just slowly gaslighting herself with each roll.
Basically.
She is losing touch with reality right now.
There's been no evidence of a
Been like-
church whatsoever since we've been
She's
here, but
just
she's like, "Ah, maybe, you know.
She's covered in Conroy signatures and losing touch with reality. Ever since she
stepped.
stepped
Places like
foot in
cancer.
Ortolan.
It was more so like the goblin child head explosion that really just did it in for her.
True,
now,
true,
now
true,
it's just
yes.
like, wow. It's
Maybe
crazy.
They should blow up the city.
The world's so much more gray than I thought it was.
God, okay.
It's all
Um,
eating away your sanity.
Yeah, tracks, to be honest. Okay. Yeah, she's just kind of watching that, and, like for her eyebrows, and kind of, then turn back to continue walking, and she'll go,
Well, would you have any recommendations for buildings here by chance? I mean, there's quite a few around, but for something of the magnitude of the Fighters Guild.
I'm not a steward. I don't know these things. Surely a deal could be made. They've helped the king very much in the West. I imagine he would have easily, if they had ever asked, given them a reward for their service, but the king, and frankly the church, has never had a direct line of communication before. I mean, they've never approached us officially in any capacity, which is a little strange, don't you think? You can tell that this man is very good at his job, probably because of how paranoid he is.
yeah, he seems insane. She'll just kind of like
Yeah.
stare at him for a second.
He's reaching. That's for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, I guess I'll just kind of like stare at him and then not say anything and continue going forward on the horse.
He says,
Cray cray.
He says, fine. As he stares at you for a while, he says, very well. You think me insane. Very well.
Yep.
That is
We
fine, but maybe we'll see who's right in the end. I have worked faithfully for our king for a long, long time, and I have maintained my prestigious position due to my proclivities. Now then, you four will bear witness, and we will see exactly what goes on in this town of Ordelin. And he walks in. You guys see the streets. You can see that there's like a couple like girls sort of like standing by waiting for Conroy, and they see you guys, and you recognize one of them, Agatha, and she kind of like sticks her tongue out at you.
Agatha will just like kind of go, kind of like make like a sour face and then like shake her head, look back over it. Fucking Mr. Bishop over here. Probably like during that the entire like, oh, you think me insane? Just kind of like every now and again like glance at him with this weird look of like pity and just a little bit of like almost disgust. And eventually, definitely follow him in. We cannot be leaving that bitch alone.
Yeah.
Definitely not.
To
Especially with the fucking
Unhinged.
right hand.
describe Regis a little bit more in detail, he has black hair. He's an older man, probably in his 40s or so. You can see like sort of like white hair, like kind of like coming through his like. He's got like a very like almost like kind of like a pencil thin like beard that goes up, and his mustache kind of like comes down in there as well. And you can see like white hairs sort of coming off on the stubble. And he's not really a super weak man. You can tell he's like pretty fit. Not like crazy fit like Rago and fucking Agatha, but he's definitely like
He's trying.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's definitely seen battle. You can definitely tell. You can see on his left eye there's actually a long scar that goes down across his face. And if you look at it, you can kind of catch on his neck a little bit every now and then, like a burn sort of scarring on his that comes up his neck and like down like into his that disappears behind his clothes. He's very stern and very like you can tell he like when he does speak, he speaks very meaningfully, like he's thought everything, and when you're under his gaze, you feel very small. Like this man is like looking. He's like anytime he talks to anyone, it looks like he's studying them. So this is a very professional man. As you guys are walking through, you can see a lot of people actually stop and sort of like are like pointing towards the group and being very. It's a spectacle. I mean, there's no everyone give me an insight check. Let's see how you guys do.
Inside, I won't roll one.
I don't know. I mean, I don't have a lot of faith right now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna roll a 1.
Okay, never mind. The fucking
natural 20. There you go. Hey,
of
it
course.
comes back.
There we go.
I
There
thought
we
you
go,
rolled a
guys.
2 at first. I was like, you're not allowed to
I
roll
thought I did
anymore.
too. Love these die.
All right.
As I roll very terribly.
Okay, so both I think Agatha, I think you know very well what's going on. And honestly, like these talks, it doesn't really matter how they go. What really matters is that the Inquisitor, the right hand of the king, and 30 paladins are simply walking down the street straight to the Lord's place. Like this is a show of force for sure.
Oh yeah.
Whether that's intentional or maybe they were expecting a fight, it's hard to say. But anyway, they walk through, and he walks just straight through this gate. The guards there immediately move out of the way, and you guys get through the gate with the Lord, and you can see that there's some of the town guard here. They have the sort of the house symbol for the house here. Let me make sure I didn't write down anything huge. Right. Okay. Uh, um, um, so you guys get to there, and you can see that they. Oh, right, the house symbol. The house symbol is a hand, that has a tree growing out of the palm, and is there something else? I think that's it. Yeah, it's just like a hand with a tree growing out of the palm. A big oak tree. And as sort of and
Bless
there's bless you. There is stag horns at the top of the thing. So like where the border of the top of like the sigil would be, it's like kind of like pointed like stag horns. As soon as you sort of like are within sight, you can see that the guard sort of like elbows one of the other guards and like yells something behind the portcullis here, which is closed. All of the portcullises that you've ever seen in every single part of these, every single gate to the center area have been closed.
I see.
As you sort of like come up here. You guys arrive, and the portcullis is not open. And the guard there says, what's your business? And you can see that Regis looks a little taken aback and says, my business is the king's business. I am Regis Valith, Bishop Inquisitor of His Royal Majesty. You will move out of our way. You will raise the portcullis, and we will have a meeting with your lord. And then the guy kind of like, he looks a little pale, and he kind of like is like, of course, Lord Regis, you wish to have a meeting with the king. Were you expected? I wasn't told. And Regis says, the king does not need an invitation to talk to his subjects. And then the guy kind of just doesn't know what to say, but he's like not doing anything right now.
Okay. Just gonna kind of like kind of lean down towards the guy and go,
You need to just go ahead and open it so we can handle it from here.
Yes, of course. Opening the portcullis. Right, well, this has never really happened before. I guess that you can go through, very possibly. Red and Ando, Red and Ando, yeah. Thorn. And, Rago, sorry. What are you guys doing in this moment?
Let's see here. Where? God.
So
That's a good question. We're kind of we're still in this one big group, right? I didn't think that we
Yep.
were.
You're in this group. Regis is talking to this guard who's very pale and just seems to not be doing anything. There's a portcullis that you can see through. There are people on the walls kind of above, just kind of like looking down and seeing what's happening. But yeah, you're next to him. You're next. All three of you are right next to Regis, who's talking to this guard, and then behind you is that armored figure, and then the 30 paladins beyond that. So what are you guys doing in this situation? Are you just vibing?
I'm kind of following the lead, making sure the rest of my team here is safe. Obviously, being surrounded by this much armed force feels
Right.
uncomfortable.
Yeah, I'm probably just looking for like ways that we can get away if shit goes south quick.
Okay. Thorn, give me a perception check with disadvantage.
Ooh. That's crazy.
You really said disadvantage on your roll.
Yeah. 9.
9. Okay. Yeah, you're looking around. I mean, as far as escape goes, as you're looking around, you look at the armored figure that has the black feathered wings, and you kind of surmise you're probably not going to be able to get away from that guy because he could probably fly. So that's kind of like where you land on that. You're like, I don't know if we can get out of this if shit gets really crazy. Yeah, and then sort of you guys kind of talk to this guard for another 2 minutes. He's like, raise the portcullis. And then the portcullis starts slowly raising. You guys kind of stand there for another I want to say 2 minutes as they raise it, and then eventually it gets high enough to where Regis can bend over and go underneath, and he just does. And then everyone starts following in behind. It seems like he doesn't want to wait here.
Clearly.
Homie's
Okay.
impatient.
He said, "Don't mind if I do."
But yeah, just gonna immediately follow after him.
He-
without fucking...
As soon as he goes through and he looks around, he points sort of over towards the next gate, and he says, "Stop that, man." And you hear a whoof, and you can see that fully plated figure fly extremely
Oh.
fast, and you can see that there's this guard that's running towards the gate, and all you see is the wings sort of go back as he dives down, and you just hear a thump as he just lands onto the ground on top of this dude.
Damn.
And
Uh-oh.
Regis says, and just walks forward towards very he walks very slowly, and you can see that the armored figure picks up this guard by his back of his collar, his back breastplate, and the guy's kicking and trying to move, and then he just kind of stops moving, and then you can see that the guy's holding him off the ground, this sort of plated figure, and he kind of just turns and he points the guy towards Regis, and Regis just slowly walks to him. It's like 50 yards away, Regis is, and he's slowly walking, looking at this man, and you can see the man is getting paler and paler as he approaches.
Great.
Oh,
Yeah, we're
jeez.
Gonna stay on his heels. Surely this will go well.
Nothing could go wrong here.
Yeah. It's be fine.
Regis walks up with you guys in tow. I assume you sort of catch up to him. And you can see he looks at the guard, and he doesn't say anything. The guard's like, sorry, my lord. I was just delivering. And he goes, "Shut your mouth, God. I don't have time for your lies." And you can see he looks down and he kind of pulls out a holy symbol. And he says, "By the power of the king, I command all ye within this circle to tell me the truth." And he kind of you see a light goes forth, and I need everyone to succeed on a wisdom saving throw.
Son of a bitch.
What the fuck?
Okay.
DC 18.
That's it?
Oh, son of a bitch. Okay, hold on.
Here comes my nat 20.
Ooh.
That's crazy.
Please, please.
Here comes
Fuck.
Simon, not 20.
Okay.
Okay, let's go.
Rago makes it. As
Go.
as sort of this light goes through Thorn and Agatha, until you guys either leave the circle that he's created, which is basically around everyone within shoulder length of him. It's a 20-foot diameter circle.
Yep.
You guys cannot tell a lie while you were in the circle.
I don't
Um,
know.
Okay.
Psionics give me truth immunity.
Yep. And then Red, this light seems to bother you just not as much as Thorn or Rago. You actually just don't really notice too much. It just seems like it doesn't affect you as much
Can
as
I
it does the
ask
other ones.
Thorn how he's feeling, seeing him taken aback by
Yes.
by the light? Thorn, you doing okay?
No, not at all.
And he said, and you see Regis. He looks up to this guard and he says, "What was your last command?" And he says, "I was to tell the king that you arrived while while the captain stalled you at the gate. He kind of like looks like horrified at what he's just said. As I thought. Tell me, guard, are you loyal to your king? He goes, of course I'm loyal to the king. I'm loyal to my lord as well, and he's loyal to the king. But as he says, like, loyal to the king, he kind of like gets caught up, and his words like, to. I don't know my lord's loyalties, but I'm loyal to the king, sir. And he says, very well. Take the rest of the day off. Drop him. And then the plated figure drops him, and the guard just like kind of runs off. And very quickly, he turns around and says, are you loyal to the king? He addresses all of you. Thorn, I'm gonna need an honest answer out of you.
I mean, do I have a reason to not be? I suppose I don't know.
Not really.
Circle?
No.
No, I meant like loyal to the king.
I mean,
Do I really care?
not really. No, I mean, I imagine you're pretty like chaotic neutral, so it's like
Yeah.
you'll break the rules if they like, if they're like in your way or whatever, but not like in a malicious way. So it's not like, I don't know. It's up to you. Is Thorn loyal to the king? If the king told you to kill someone and they were a threat to the country, would you do it?
I'm gonna go with I'm pretty neutral on the king.
All right, yeah, that comes out true. He looks over to Thorn, or he looks he kind of like his gaze goes away from you as soon as you say that, and he looks directly at Agatha. Are you loyal to the king?
I mean, hold on. Like, I'm loyal to the Watchers.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really have any involvement prior with the king, right? I don't believe so.
Nope.
I mean, like,
Okay.
are you like
You-
here?
And as a watcher, like your doctrine is balance. Like you could,
Yeah.
if the whole thing is like make sure that like the good guys aren't in too much power and make sure the bad guys aren't in too much power, and like keep them at the same. And if basically like the way you're taught, if everyone's sort of like the same, then the amount of damage one can do to the other is minimized.
Yes. Okay.
So
Um.
I think if you're saying honestly, no, because you're loyal to the Watchers. I mean, you're technically an Oathbreaker as we're playing it, but you have not technically broken an oath. You're just disconnected from your
Yeah,
patron.
Okay. Yes. Okay. I shall say, I am loyal to the Watchers first and foremost, and I uphold their doctrine. I will until the day I die.
Very good. And he looks over towards Rago and says, doesn't matter what I ask you, for you're not under the effects of my spell. Isn't that right, Rago?
You catch on quickly, Inquisitor.
Are you loyal to the king?
You could say that as long as everyone is treated fairly. I would say he's done a good job.
A reasonable answer. Very well. Sorry to ambush you three like that, but honestly, as long as you're honest with me, no harm will befall you. And, well, the circle was already up, and I already put a lot of my trust within you guys. I wanted to make sure that you are as I thought you were. And you are. So no worries. Now then, what do you four make of what's just conspired?
Well, if I were to be a lord in this position, and if
You were-
I were to...
You are still under the effects of the
Yes.
Zone of
yes.
Truth, by the way.
And if I were to be hearing that, say, militia of paladins as well as the King's Inquisitor and right hand were approaching, after years of no contact, I also would flee out of fear.
So you think that these guards were acting of their own will and not their lords?
I'm unsure. She is true about that. She has no fucking idea.
What are the rest of you? Do you share in her sentiments?
Well,
yeah.
Seems like, yeah, these guys are trying to protect their own interests, perhaps, and who knows, maybe the Lord is as well.
Indeed. Could be that's the case. Or perhaps, if His Majesty's men come here, they're supposed to warn this Lord. Because he's hiding something. Don't you find that to be a little more reasonable once you take the big picture into consideration? Or
You're
perhaps
wrong.
I'm mad.
I'm starting to think that might be the case.
Shit.
Well, politics are always a messy business. That's why we stick to the more, shall I say, sane side of things. His king's religion is a true thing. We have, he kind of like gestures over to his side, we have serfs. Those of law and order, of a plane of nothing but law, order, and good. He has a host of these. Do you believe that the king could mean anything wrong? His paladins wield holy power. This is undisputable. We wield the power of good, given to us by our king through his divine blood. I cannot be disingenuous with you people. I cannot lie,
Certainly not.
and I shall never tell a lie. That would disgrace my lord.
Under I figured it wouldn't work like this, but he's not under the effects of his own spell, correct?
Give me Arcana.
No.
Spicy.
Or religion.
They're both the same for me. Okay. 19.
He would not be under this effect, but you don't feel like he's lying to you.
Okay.
His words seem very strong.
I may
Oh,
Yeah, maybe he just thinks he's not lying.
be a harsh man. I might have a harsh reputation, along with my companion here. But I'll have you all know that the king's ambitions, the king's goals, they aren't just to simply run a peaceful kingdom full of no hardship. He's not trying to create a paradise here. He is simply doing what he can with what he has. We have a very important charge, the king as well. And we all should all do our part to make sure that the weights on his shoulders are the least they can possibly be. That's my job. My job is to deal with these political matters. For these things, they only affect the king if it gets to a point that I cannot control it. I implore the four of you to help me. If we can control this, we could avoid bloodshed. But I won't lie. I don't see. From what I've gathered, I don't see a future where there won't be some. The chaos of the North has infected our lands, despite our best efforts. To what effects and what aspirations, I know not. If you look to the Kingdom of the North, you'll find nothing but sin, monsters, death, and undeath. I tell you this in all truthfulness. I want no bloodshed. But where men like this pop their heads and rear them back, no bloodshed can be disused. They know not anything else. They have no morals to tether themselves to. They don't have a doctrine. He puts his hand out towards Agatha. They have no oaths here.
How can you possibly be so sure about that? These people, they clearly have not been in contact with the church. They can form their own and create whatever they pleased.
What
One might
more
not be up to
proof do I need?
have a man running away from you?
They desecrate the church. They've desecrated it. This we know. My scouts have told me. The lord of this area does nothing to stop it. Are you to presume that he is ignorant of these affairs? That he simply doesn't do his job? That's what we're here to find out. But I fear that there's something foul afoot. Multiple things.
Hold. You were not against my doctrine, which I feel might be somewhat different from your church's. And yet you don't possibly give this man a chance to prove himself. It might not align me perfectly with your king and what he believes in, but that doesn't necessarily make it a bad thing.
The Watchers... Well, I've not met one within my lifetime, but they wield holy power. This can be undisputed. The texts that I've read say that you wield the light. He kind of like purses his lips and shakes his head and says, "Our goals might be different, but we both come from places of good, planes of good. Simply, the light itself, the holy light, is goodness personified. Can you deny this? Why? Of course the Watcher's goals differ. Sometimes they help different sides, but it's not me to question when you wield goodness. Can it be? Obviously not. If I'm to believe in my king, I must believe in all the things he stands with. And that's the light. Holy virtue will guide us. Oaths, morals, strong foundations. These are the things that we must aspire to. These are the... He kind of like looks out a bit. These are the truths of the world. There are necromancers, mages, which play with undeath, sending out necrotic death. These things are, well, they're evil. It's simply put, evil personified. The only way to a full life is redemption. And that simply can't be dissuaded. These are the hard truths of our world. The seraphs represent good. Some of them have fallen. His eyes look over towards the plated figure to his left. But whenever they fall, that good light leaves them. Which means that it can enter them once more. And I believe that, surely. Redemption is a thing. But when the dark is faced with the light, it'll always cower away. If we go in there with righteous hearts and good morals, well, the truth will be made known. And if this man is evil, it will be made known to us. Now then, any more questions?
Agatha looks real fucking pissed. The entire time listening to that, she'll eventually just end up crossing her arms and scowling down at him as he preaches on and on.
No.
And she'll say, "You have quite a black and white version of viewing the world. I'm actually quite surprised."
Well, of course, the civilians, they live in a world of gray, of course. I mean, it's up to them for their personal journeys. But when it comes to where the power lies in a land and what power should be thrown around, then obviously that of good should reign. For good is good.
That may be true, but that doesn't necessarily mean that someone under the king's oath, or not under the king's loyalty can't be good. If you don't possibly give people a chance to prove themselves, and if you, like you said earlier, feel like you need to turn to bloodshed, then truly, what good is that? Good to enforce your power and your superiority?
This is
Blades and blood?
an excellent inquiry. And I have a very simple answer for you. For those sinners who live their worlds against that of the common good, the light will leave them. I have proof of that. For this man here, who's given up his name, he puts his hand over, is a seraph who fell. His white feathers turned black, and he lost his holy power. But he repents. He repents, and he stands there as a testament that even those who fall should seek the light's embrace. For if someone of holy order who is put there is no longer good, the light will leave them, and this is truth. So I don't need to worry about black or white or grays. All I need is the light, and if the light is still, if the spark of light is still within this Lord, then his intentions are pure, and I'll believe that. Although, if we go in there, and his spark is gone, what are you four prepared to do?
Not kill him, let me make myself clear. This man, no matter what he's done, he has a family and daughters. It would be absolutely unfair to deprive him of having that life for his family and the people he's close to.
Tell me, Watcher, what would you do if placed in my situation? This man,
Kind of like pause and think.
surely, maybe he still has the light. Maybe there's no need to worry. But if it has left him, what would you do?
Most likely take him out of power, but not, she'll like narrow her eyes and kind of like wag her finger as she says this, not through taking his life. Let me make myself crystal clear about that.
And what if he refuses to repent?
Sorry, I'm just amused by the fact that she's wagging a finger at him.
He seems pretty unperturbed.
Go, Kara.
He actually looks like he's genuinely interested in what her answers are.
Oh.
Hold on.
What is it exactly that the church orders their sinners to do in order to repent?
Well, he must beg the forgiveness of the king. He will be stripped of titles and duties, and he will be thrown in prison until a order by the king for a man of this position. There must be an official trial, and the king will render judgment. He's a reasonable man. He's hard, stern, but he has a lot of responsibilities. And we are in his lands. And this man has power by his word.
Her brow kind of like furrows at the mention of a given judgment.
What do these judgments typically include?
Well, this will be a first of its kind. I'll have you know. Never before has there ever been a lord of any town who has renounced the king.
She shows that like scowl on her face, and her brows kind of furrow further. She thinks for a second.
You said north of the land is outside of the king's domain, correct?
Past the wall, of course. The wasteland.
To my knowledge, as a watcher, is it actually like a wasteland, or is there life out there?
You know that the The Keepers, which are allies to the Watchers, do live up that way in a swampy forest. And you do know that there usually is a Watcher monk that sort of like has like a stewardship with them. The Keepers, so the Watchers, there will never be like, there's usually like one per like life cycle, right? So
Yeah.
when the current one dies, then a new one will be put down. And this is because the Githzerai just simply don't have that many numbers. And due to wonky timeline stuff, they can't keep like a standing force. So they basically like super train like paladins to go down and basically do what they can, because it's all they got at this point.
Yeah.
And the last Watcher that was assigned here was your father.
Okay.
And then you were assigned here due to your predicaments, even though it was against his wishes, that you do know that.
Okay.
So you know that there might be some monks around, but none that have the authority that you do to interfere with politics or anything like that.
Okay. Yeah, Agatha will go ahead and like kind of like put a hand to her chin, like close her eyes for a second. She mulls over his question and go.
I would most likely look into setting him up outside of the wall, as there are keepers out there. Contact them and see if they would be willing to assist with this man in some level of reformation, or at the very least to get him started on a new life. Allow him to contact his children and family every now and again, most likely once a month, a letter in and out.
She's kind of like staring at this, or at the Inquisitor the entire time to kind of like gauge his reactions to what she's saying, since she knows that it's much nicer than what he most likely has in mind.
Well, he kind of like has a confused look on his face, and he says, Madam Watcher, there is no officially recognized government north of the wall. There are some brigands that have taken up in the capital, but there are no villages, towns of any sort north of the wall. It's all been destroyed from the rebellions 20 years ago. Even the Magus Guild doesn't have a tower anywhere up there anymore. Not one functional, at least. Now, I don't know where your keepers were. Maybe they were able to outlast the fighting, but simply put, to even hazard a prisoner patrol up that way is frankly inconceivable. There's no guarantee they'd make it, and that's not a very logical decision to make, if you ask me.
What? Rotting in some sort of cell for the remainder of his life would be better?
If the king wishes it, although I doubt that. And we'll have to see what the situation is. We simply don't know. But it's good to know what your thoughts are, Miss Watcher. I do respect your opinion rather a lot. It's faint, but I do sense the light in you.
She does not like that. She just kind of crosses her arms again, goes,
This is a waste of time. We should go ahead and talk to this man. And ideally not immediately sever his head if he isn't quite up to your standards.
Very well. Well, how about this? You know my position. I know yours. Why don't you do the talking, and I'll cut in if it's... well, if you lose control of the situation. How about that?
she looks kind of disgusted at that prospect, to kind of be like a pawn for the King's Inquisitor. Eventually she'll kind of like close her eyes for a second, shake her head and go,
What I am not used to interrogating people to this degree.
Well,
But,
let us see where your line of questioning brings you, and what you sort of come to after meeting this man. And if I have any additional questions at the end, I shall. But as a offer of peace, I'm having you do this instead of me. You understand that, right?
I'm aware, yes.
Very well. As a proof that I mean no harm to these people, besides what's necessary, I will allow you to question the Lord before I do. If I find that you come to a reasonable agreement, then, well, I shall leave it to you, and the king will reward you in kind. Sound fair?
Fine, so be it.
Very well. And he sort of moves up, and they sort of they all walk by, and you can see that the plated helm sort of just like lingers on the whole party for quite a while as you guys walk past him, and he follows up behind you. The rest of the paladins are told to wait outside as you five sort of make your way in. Melora is in your shadow, I guess, vibing.
A posing in my shadow. Okay.
Yeah, she's T-posing currently in your shadow.
Okay.
Does he bring
It's
in
war
his
crimes.
armored figure?
She's writing down the memory of killing that child while it's still fresh in her mind.
War crimes.
You're
Shout out.
That's fucking funny.
Oh gosh.
Oh Christ. Okay. Agatha's probably fucking like she's clearly like a bit irate at this point, but she's also stressed. 'Cause what the fuck? We got the whack ass paranoid inquisitor, the murderous right hand, and now essentially this man's life is probably going to be
Peace.
within up to her, so be fine. He'll be fine.
It'll be fine. Everything is fine.
Just gonna kind of like, I don't know, probably fidget with her fucking walking stick. She follows him.
Okay. Sorry, my one of my bosses needed hours. You do that, and you guys enter the building. As you sort of get in, you see that there are like a lot of like sort of youngish looking women. You don't see any older than 20, but you see like
Creepy.
probably like there's like probably see like 4 or 5 like around 20-year-old women. There's some like younger, like running around like toddlers and stuff, but they're all like this, apparently this lord's daughters. You can see that there's servants walking around, and they're serving people and whatnot.
Ruh-roh, Raggy.
Let me think about this.
Yeah, for real.
As you guys sort of walk through, you see like the gardens around here are very lush, very beautiful gardens. And as you walk in, you can see that there's like house plants everywhere, but they're like they're planted in dirt, and they've grown, and they're very lush. You go in here, and it feels like almost like a greenhouse of sorts. As you sort of wander in here, and you can see that everything's very lavishly adorned. There's paintings of basically all these different men. You're assuming like the past lords of this sort of manor. It's more, although it's a very large manor, and it is built in stone, but it's not really a castle. Like, it's not built for defenses or fortifications. Just a very grand sort of living palace. As you guys sort of walk around, you see like a lot of these daughters running around. They kind of like look at you very inquisitively, but none of them really approach you at all. Thorn, you do catch one of them wink at you.
I wink
Yeah.
back.
Not right now.
And then she has like curly gold hair. She seems to be about 20 years old, and she winks at you and then kind of like runs into like a wing of the building. You guys get to the sort of grand hall, and you see the lord of the castle, and he's sort of like, he's got a very loose-fitting crown on his head, and he's like almost naked. He's got like a robe on and like some like undergarments, and you can see
What
he's
a
like
power move.
he's like eating grapes, and he's like talking to this like crowd of people. Just like there's a bunch of different people there, and he's like telling a story, and he's like he's like moving his arms, and he goes, and then oop, and he drinks from a goblet, which now you can pretty much guess is wine. And then I slayed the beast, and they all start clapping. And he goes, "Ha! Who are you?" And he kind of like looks over and sees like the plated sort of seraph that has been following you guys, and looks at Regis and says, what's the meaning of this? Who are you? Oop, I didn't call for jesters.
Oh no.
Agatha looks exasperated. She pinches the bridge of her nose, and she goes,
We are not jesters. These are the Kingsmen, and this is the Bishop Inquisitor.
Of course. Have a drink. Or not. Well, everyone leave. And he kind of like raises his hand. All the crowd he was talking to kind of like shuffles out, and like the music kind of stops, and he goes, It's an honor to have the Kingsmen here. It's very, wow, this is great. No one told me you were coming. Regis, like, I think you kind of look back, and you see Regis kind of wants to like talk to this man, but he's kind of like watching you and like keeping quiet and seeing if you're like seeing how you handle this situation.
okay. Kind of like side eye him as well, and then like look back at this man, and she'll go,
It was a bit of a impromptu visit. The Bishop Inquisitor has allowed me to ask you a couple of questions. I'm hoping that you are going to be up for that, as they are quite important.
Yeah, just let me sit on my throne. I can't think unless I'm sitting on my throne. And he goes and he
Of course.
sits down on the throne,
And
he-
he was gonna fall over.
and
On his way up.
he goes. He does kind of like trip on he kind of like stumbles on the steps a little bit. He's got to like do a couple steps to get up to where the throne is, and he
That's
sits
rough, buddy.
and he sits down, and you see there's like an empty like smaller throne next to him where you would assume his wife sits in. And he goes, give me a moment to gather my thoughts.
kind of cross her arms. Also, does his truth spell or whatever that he casts, is that still only applied to, I guess, Thornline, or?
No, it's in a fixed position. As soon as you guys left that and like moved on into the castle, the effect was gone.
Oh,
So I
okay.
could have lied
okay.
this whole time.
Yeah, you could have lied
Thank
this whole
you.
time. Well, I mean, I haven't said anything, so.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was really the lie so far.
The issue hasn't arisen yet, but yes, you could have lied.
It's funny.
I mean,
And he-
I was out here with the battle of beliefs.
You guys kind of sit in silence for a bit, because it's just kind of obvious that the lord of this place is like, he's kind of like, he almost looks like he's spacing off for a bit, and he's not gonna start the conversation, it seems.
Okay, I'll give him like maybe like a minute and a half before she'll speak up and go.
All right. Are you ready, sir?
He looks at you and he seems a little bit. Give me an insight check.
Okay. 18 sleigh.
He looks at you almost like he's a new person. Like, he looks at you very much in control of his faculties, and he says, "It's a pleasure for the Lord King to send his vassals. Are you merchants? Are you who are you?"
No, brother.
Is he referring to like the four of us specifically?
It seems he is. Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
We are travelers initially. I am a paladin of the Watchers. These two back here are folk heroes from out west. We ended up getting along with the Fighters Guild, and we were curious as to what was going on over here. So we ventured
The Fighters
out
Guild.
here.
Of
Yes.
course, yeah. The Fighters Guild. They have taken up residence somewhere, and they have been helping the kingdom with
My God.
I don't really know what they've been doing. I haven't really sanctioned them to do anything. I haven't really sanctioned much. Whatever they're up to has nothing to do with me.
Question. Would Greater Restoration cure being a fucking drunk idiot?
What's the wording? I imagine so. Does it purges poisons, right? It cures the poison condition.
So, hold on a second. Give me a second. I need to see. Charmed or petrify. Curse.
I know lesser restoration deals with poisons. I don't know if greater does. A lesser restoration would cure his drunkenness
Son of a bitch.
if you have that. I don't think greater
No.
restoration will.
I know.
It's kind of fucked up about lesser and greater restoration. The better
Yeah, it's
one
kind of screwed up.
doesn't actually do everything the smaller one does.
Hold on. Let me just see real quick.
That's crazy.
Oh wait, I have lay on hands. Hold on.
Oh yeah, 5
No,
points.
I can do this. I can do this. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to. I guess I was gonna look at him like kind of visibly annoyed. Just going to say, what the fuck? What's the title? Is it just like, guys just call him Sir? There's no
Lord.
Lord. Okay.
He's the same as Lord Artis. Like they're like the same status.
My lord, could I receive your permission to sober you up?
He seems to think for a moment. Is it? Yes, of course.
Wise choice.
She's gonna walk up, and
Crazy.
on his, just like kind of walk up and then like touch his shoulder. Going to expend those 5 points, to cure him of being a fucking fool.
How does it look when you use lay on hands?
So I mean, he's his fucking robe. Is he like kind of like setting up, mostly straighten it and whatnot?
Mm-hmm. He kind of like closed his robes when he was like walking over to sit down.
Thank God. Okay, yeah. She'll walk up, probably like I guess whatever. Yeah, just on like his fucking I guess right shoulder. She'll touch her hand to it, kind of grip it, while looking him dead in the eyes.
He says, "Oh my."
It's not a happy one. It's more so get your shit together.
Yeah, it seems like he kind of likes it.
That's every day. It's so cursed.
So cursed.
Lay on hands. Is it just?
Yeah, I think it's just 5
da-
points to remove diseases and poisons, right?
yeah, I think so. Yeah, she'll probably like murmur a couple of like words under her breath as she watches him. And I like to imagine there's just kind of like this weird, maybe blue light that glows all around him, and eventually evaporates almost as she takes her hand off of him and stands back.
You can feel Regis kind of smirking behind you. As the lay on hands is the only connection you have with your patron, so it is a holy, holy magic. So you can kind of feel him
right.
sort of smirking at that. You do that, and he stops hiccuping. He says, "Thank you, Master Adventurer. I appreciate that. We may now have a civilized conversation amongst adults."
Excellent.
So kind of like go ahead and I guess go back down the stairs. Whatever. She doesn't want to fucking be near him.
Go walk of shame.
And she'll go back to looking at him and go,
I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. Please answer truthfully. When did the Fighters Guild move into the town?
The Fighters Guild moved into town approximately a year and a half ago.
All right.
I wouldn't know the founding of Ordolan, would I? How long that's been around?
Probably not. Most of your education, I mean, there's a little bit of history in there for sure. You can make a history check, but like, I mean, maybe it was
Okay.
covered, maybe it wasn't. It's hard to say.
I'll give it a shot then. Sure. Where's my history? There it is.
Your schooling was a long time ago, too.
True.
Hey!
21, it's okay.
21.
Joke.
Ordolan, you do remember this because you were like sort of curious about where your dad was. At some point you did inquire, and you've gotten a little bit of information. I mean, to be like just straightforward, the Githzerai, they don't keep up very well.
True.
Because I mean, you know, time's all wibbly wonky there. So I mean, just to do that, it is a little bit hard. But there was one elder monk who tried to keep it pretty well in, and this was outside your normal schooling. You went and found this man after hearing about his exploits. And he's just sort of a scholar of this place. And this man you talked to wasn't actually part of the Watchers. You went to, there is like other Githzerai settlements. The Watchers is just like their sort of religious area, like a kind of like a military camp sort of type vibe. So there are like Githzerai. Githzerai in general are very disciplined, and they focus just the regular like sort of like civilians of the Githzerai still like sort of like believe in the Watchers and stuff like that, but the way they sort of do, it's very like sort of Eastern sort of philosophy. Like it's very like discipline, like Lao Tzu stuff, like breathing, meditation, controlling your emotions, all that kind of stuff. But also they sort of like a lot of them sort of get less sort of like Bushido type code when they do like focus on one thing. They try to be the best at that one thing. So like no use doing something if you're not going to be the best at it. So this man was a scholar, and even though it's very hard, you do remember this. The founding of Ordolan was founded supposedly when this man who you're talking to, which his name is let's see, his name is Garrett Ordolan. So the Ordolan bloodline started when the first Ordolan made harmony with the trees, is how it's like worded. And so it's like he befriended the forest, and the forest welcomed him, and he was able to build Ordolan, a town full of a prosperous town that's never known any hardship. It's known as the place of success. You go here and you succeed in life.
Okay.
And that's sort of like that's the vibe of its founding, and that's also where the House Crest comes from. with the palm of the hand and the oak tree springing from the palm. Or a hand and the oak tree springing up from the palm.
Okay. Do I have like a set, like a year or like an estimation of how long ago since now the founding happened?
Slightly before, the Lothric's even made the Kingdom of Feathers. So Ortolan was already here when the kingdom was founded.
Okay. So, okay. This wasn't like a town that the kingdom invented. All right.
It is.
That makes his comment worse, actually.
With the
Pointing it out.
yes, it does make it worse. With the with that knowledge, it does kind of like spring to your mind. It is a little strange that the capital of the Kingdom of Feathers is Selgaunt and not Ortolan. With that sort of like amazing story, right? It seems like that would be the story. Like if there was a religion here, it feels like that would be a pretty good one too.
Yeah, like forest acceptance, kind of druidic type beat, a
Mm-hmm.
little bit. Okay.
Definitely don't get a druidic
So-
vibe here though,
Yeah.
especially from this man who's wearing a gold crown that's very loosely adorning his head, and apparently drinking himself silly, and having plenty of daughters,
Apparently.
most of which who seem to be 20.
Uh-oh.
Why?
Hmm. Okay.
Why is
Where's your
this
wife
so
at?
important?
With that history check, you are getting some weird vibes here. Like, I don't know, it's strange. Maybe not impossible, but it is weird. This whole situation does seem weirder the more you get into it.
Great. Okay. All right. So like 1.5 years ago. Okay. I don't know. Well, then, with all of this knowledge given to her now in her brain, she will go ahead and ask. Oh, fuck! My brain just also exploded. She'll say, for what reason was it that the Fighters Guild took up residency at the church?
Well, to be perfectly frank, they said that they needed more Eastern operations. I said if they find a suitable place to locate themselves that doesn't bother anyone, and they simply stay out of the forest in the north and protect it, then they would find safe haven here.
Hold on, I'm thinking. Okay. Okay.
So, by the time that they had arrived, where were the members of the church that were supposed to be occupying the place where they are now?
Quite simply, I don't leave my walls that often. I take care of my daughters, and I take care of any issues involving the forest to the north, and my grounds here. The city is mostly run by the Merchants Guild, which are very good at zoning, and there have been no issues brought to my attention. I have not heard from the church in quite some time. I fill out my yearly reports. We mostly know peace here. I haven't found nothing has crossed my desk of any import that I've been made aware of.
So, any problems that arise, typically the Fighters Guild will take care of it, to your knowledge.
The doors burst open behind you guys, and you hear, "Daddy, Daddy!" Oh,
Oh, great.
and you notice the woman you fought earlier in the streets, Agatha. Or Melora. Or actually, it was Melora. You broke it up.
I broke it up, yeah.
She scowls at you and says,
I'll
"I'll come back another time, Daddy." And she walks outside.
Oh, no.
turn around and give her that fucking get the fuck out of here stare.
That made me uncomfy.
The king, or not the king, but the Lord sort of like looks over and is like, sorry about that. My daughters, we're very close. So, the doors are normally, I normally don't have meetings like this, you see. Apologize for that. What was your question again?
Damn, what was my question again? Son of a bitch.
Sorry, well, I can't answer any questions that you don't remember. Anyways.
Not saying that in character, that would be funny though. Fuck. Oh, she had asked if the Fighters Guild generally dealt with any problems that arose to his knowledge.
Well, I've heard that the Fighters Guild has been very successful defending the town. My daughters are big fans. Apart from that, that's all I know. They have not entered the forest which I protect. Nor do they bother me with any trivial matters or large matters. As far as I know, they're living harmlessly in the city. If they have made any slight against His Majesty or anything like that, I condemn their actions fully. But I have not been made aware of any such actions. You can kind of like feel Regis like tapping his foot in the background.
Yeah, probably. Sure, he wants to fucking make this so much worse.
For what reason do you choose to not be as involved with what's going on in the city?
Well, I entrusted the church to oversee any matters remaining to the church, and they're supposed to come to me for any guidance during my consultation hours, he says, kind of like passive-aggressively. And that is their charge, as well as the Fighters Guild should bring any problems they have to me directly. I have not heard of anything. What exactly is this about, by the way?
Just kind of glance back at the bishop and say, the lack of communication with the church regarding anything and everything since more or less the founding of Ordelin.
Ordelin is a place of peace, as it is.
What I can tell, I can see that, but that is not the way that the bishop or king, I suppose, views it also.
Well, well, this is a simple fix. Simply tell me what has transpired to afford this meeting.
Well, there is the issue of the Fighters Guild taking a presidency in the church.
Blasphemy. Truly.
I just mentioned it a few moments earlier. I don't know how you missed that, but...
Of the highest order. Yes, well, they should be put to death.
Agatha will be taken aback by that.
You
Wait a
were supposed to
minute.
be the responsible one in regards to letting
This-
them stay here.
This failing is on me, but I am forever loyal with the king. In fact, yes, perhaps the Fighters Guild should be dealt with.
The Fighters Guild that's been assisting you all this time, perhaps instead you should...
Assisting me after desecrating the church? I think
By
not. I've been
letting your
deceived.
By not letting your town get invaded by the multiple threats that have been outside of these walls, I'm not sure why you wouldn't have designated a certain building for them if they were to take a presidency here. Giving them full reign should fall on you in this regard.
Any threats that come into Ordelin are that of man-made. I am friends with the forest and all the creatures within. This town is protected. It always has been. If there are political disagreements, then, well, I am a servant of the king. Simply put,
Brother, this guy stinks. All right.
Damn.
Agatha will look like almost like incredulous at this. But to an extent, also not surprised. She'll say,
Well, to be put to death is quite on the extreme.
Regis
regardless-
speaks up. He says, "Well, I think our inquiries have been met, our lord. I approve of your answers as well as the inquiries of these neutral parties, so to speak. We will converse with you more, but I think I'm going to have a word with my compatriots, and I will leave you to your revelries, lord." And he kind of like bows, and he kind of like looks at you guys to say like, let's go.
Agatha will not bow at this man. She will stare at him for a second and then turn to walk out.
He doesn't seem to mind.
I feel sassy today.
You guys leave, and the doors kind of close behind you, and you see like that girl like run in as you guys sort of walk out. And Regis looks at you, Agatha, and the rest of the party, and says, "Well, what do you think of the Lord of Orderlin?"
Lackadaisical at best.
Well, sure seemed that way at the beginning. He contradicted himself, didn't he? Did you catch that?
There were a couple of them in there, but yes, I did.
I don't know what's going on here, but I also won't put the Fighters Guild to death. That's not my goal here, as I've told you. But I am, perhaps... Do you think this lord has the king's best interest in mind?
Agatha will almost like grimace a little bit. And she'll say,
I think for this answer, I'm more curious in what the rest of your party thinks. You, Thorn,
I guess.
what do you think?
Do you believe that he has the king's best interests at heart?
Truly, he does. Although, I almost don't think so. What about you, Rago? Do you think this man a servant of the king?
Obviously not.
Indeed. He spoke more of this forest of his to the north than he did the king. And it seems he's, well, obviously has no concern for the ongoings of his charge, simply put. Plus, let me ask you this thing, a question. All these daughters of his, where is his queen? Made no mention.
I cannot be sure of.
When I was in there, I saw frankly, dust on that chair to his side.
It's a troubling sign.
Troubling giant sign indeed. The age of the youngest one I've seen here, approximately 2 years old. Strange sort of, timeline, don't you think? Year and a half ago, Fighters Guild comes in, takes over our church, unbeknownst to the Lord, unbeknownst to us. What happened to the people in the church? They didn't come to Selgant to warn us of this. I think the Fighters Guild killed them. I think they're dead. Put in some mass grave. While the lord of this town simply frolics in his castle with half a mind to do nothing, and half a mind generally His attitude shifted as soon as he touched that throne. I don't know what's happening here, but frankly, it stinks. And I will take no violent action against this town, nor the lord of this place, till I know exactly what it is happening in Ordelin. And I'll have you know, I have ways of learning this. But I think I will go back and report to the king. Very few details of this town has ever left this town, it seems, and I will not fall privy to those engagements. I think, in fact, I will give us probably more of a report to the city than has ever had before, and simply return and tell them what I've found. The king's got a great interest in what happens here. I think that goes without saying. If you truly wish to see no violence, do me a favor and get to the bottom of this. Is that fair? He looks over towards Rago and Thorn, mostly towards Thorn, and says, "You'll be repaid."
I suppose we could look into it then.
Quite.
I did have one question for you, though.
Of course.
How are you so unaware of what's been going on in the city here when Solgon is so close by?
Very curious indeed, right? Very curious. In fact, I know not how that is even remotely possible. I sent a couple of my paladins here to watch the comings and goings of this town a day before our arrival. 2 days, actually, technically. They say that the comings and goings seem rather normal. So, I don't think the criminal organization known as the Thieves Guild, he says very distastefully, has any involvement in this. This is something different. I don't even know. I don't even truly know if the Fighters Guild is privy to any of this knowledge. I think that I'm gonna go back to Selgaunt and confer with advisors. And he looks over towards you, Agatha, because I truly do not know the best course of action here. Since you are so passionate to see justice, or something akin to it served, then I will leave it in your hands for now. But I will be back. So, if you truly have enough moral fiber to tackle this, then I will leave it to you. But I will continue my inquiries in approximately a month or so, should you refrain from it. Seems fair? I am a fair man after all. So I think I'll take my leave. Any questions, comments, concerns that you have? Any of you?
Not to my knowledge.
Very well.
You made your point pretty clear.
Well then. It's good to see capable people that are somewhat easy to talk to. And my line of work, most of the people I talk to are quite beyond reason. So it's refreshing. And I appreciate all of you being here. I can't offer you much, but I can offer you this. And he pulls out a bag of gold and gives it to you, Agatha. And inside is approximately 200 gold pieces.
Jesus.
Wow.
He says,
She'll take it.
"Appreciate your service. I hope that you have a favorable viewpoint of the church and His Majesty through this interaction. It seems as though the further out of Selgant I walk nowadays, the more out of touch it seems things are. I do wish to rectify this. I do not wish to see this land torn asunder like that of the north. And the least of which I would like to see this town share the fate of Hillsfar. I bid you guys adieu, for the king's work's never done. Blood be with you. And he bows and walks off with his battalion.
Did blood be with us? Is that what you
Yes.
said?
He said,
Blood be with you.
blood be with you.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Funny.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought I heard that too, and I was like, wait a minute, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, Agatha will just like look pretty stern and like watch him walk off. And then when he's out of sight, just gonna turn to you two, like just slightly panicked and go,
We need to get this shit sorted out quickly, or I think he's going to massacre everyone here.
He's clearly a psychopath.
I don't know if psychopath, but something's dearly wrong with him, and he's way too far gone in his indoctrination to even realize that perchance he could maybe be wrong. But then again, he's a bishop, let alone also an inquisitor. They're not exactly known for being simple or easy to deal with, or being told no. Oh, this is going to be horrid. I can already tell.
This is why I stay away from the church.
I can't
Hmm.
fault you. They seem entirely out of their minds, frankly.
Perhaps it's the rest of the world that's out of their minds, though.
"Oh my god,
Um,
so true."
I'm gonna go with
We just
uh,
convert everyone
Northern
real
Chief.
quick.
Well, that was a lot to hear.
She'll give you each like 50 gold. Eventually, she'll keep the 100 gold since Malora's not here right now.
Damn, that's crazy.
She's T-posing in the void currently.
Yeah, she'll get her 100 gold later.
She's
Or 50
she's
gold.
being lobotomized by
T-posing
Mulch
in
Gang.
the void.
I see.
She has a goblin child. He poses
Yeah.
for the whole session.
Yeah.
She's just running the replay of it through her head just one last time for one last shot of endorphins.
Okay. Okay. Agatha will kind of like look at you two, look back at I guess at the doors and go,
We need to go regroup with the Fighters Guild and figure out some course of action if we. I guess if this holy arrow is to not strike the town, we should probably figure this out ASAP.
Agreed. We should probably move over there with haste. Is Conrad still with us? Where the fuck did he go?
he was
tra-
outside still.
Yeah, he trailed behind you guys when you sort of like went off. Or departed with the regent. Or not regent. His name's Regis, and I keep on wanting to call him a regent, and he's not a regent. I'm dyslexic.
Regent Regis.
I did this to
Fine,
myself
fine.
as well, so.
Nah,
Good
of course.
shit.
Right. Shall we then, gentlemen?
As we should.
All right, so you guys are heading off to the Fighters Guild?
Yep.
Okay, you guys walk over. You sort of walk through the streets, and you can see there's a crowd outside the Fighters Guild. So you can assume that Conroy's there. And
I feel like they're not gonna like us very much.
Well, we just saved them from probably getting eviscerated, so we're gonna have
For
to
now.
explain ourselves. Now. Great. Yeah, we pull up, please, and thank you.
all right, yeah, you pull up. You get through the crowd. They raise the portcullis for you. They recognize you from before. You're able to get in. You can see that there's like a lot less sparring going on and a lot more people kind of standing around.
Okay.
A lot of like very like sort of burly sort of people, and they kind of like they look at you and they kind of spit on the ground as you go by.
Great.
And not towards you or anything, but they just kind of like they're looking tough, you know.
Oh, okay. That makes more sense then.
And you walk past these statues where the faces have been shorn off, and it kind of like really sets in now that you look at the church that like there's no doubt in your mind that if the Inquisitor saw this, it probably would be a bloodbath. Who would win? It's hard to say. There's a lot of pretty capable fighters here, with Conroy as well. It seems like, honestly, like you're looking around here, a lot of these fighters are like leagues ahead of what you saw over in fucking. I'll remember one of these days. Hold on, give me a second. Arabelle.
Oh, Narwhal, okay.
Like these like everyone you've seen, like every like fighter you've seen here is like. I mean, you guys are definitely stronger than them, but they probably like if there was like 3 of them, it'd probably give you a fight.
Okay. Where is Conrad slash Conrad? Conrad
You-
slash Trevor?
Open the doors to the cathedral, and you see Trevor, Conroy, and a couple of other very like they look important figures. There's one tiefling who's got blue skin, and he's got like 2 swords at his hip, and they're all standing around this person who's been beaten. And you notice that they are one of the paladins that were trailing behind you guys. And that is where we will end the session.
Okay.
What do you guys think? What's going on?
What the hell? What the church hell? Oh no.
Religion moment for real.
Yeah,
God damn.
Religion moment.
It's fun.
it's getting a little spicy, isn't it?
Yeah, just a tad bit. Just, you know.
We went from goblin murder to town extinction.
Yeah. What if we
We
fucking
just
wiped
gotta
out the
nuke a
innocents?
town, yeah.
Yeah.
It definitely.
You blew up 1 child. Are you ready to blow up 10 more?
I think as you guys definitely like went through the day, the child slaughter before seems like much less of an issue now.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Can we just go
There's,
back
like-
to that part?
You know, it's like goblin children, so it's like they're still goblins, but it's also child, you know. But then we get to like
That's fucked up. You've been hanging out with
Actual-
Melora
Yeah.
too much. That's fucked
Goblins
up.
are homies. Stop talking bad about gems and all that.
Oh damn.
sorry, it was just really easy.
You guys haven't talked with
Yeah.
gems
With
enough to
races
know the
and-
systemic problems with society right now as far as like goblin citizenship is concerned.
That's
Sure.
crazy.
Sure.
And you and Melora are not helping the situation. Just to throw that out there.
Hey,
just-
in my defense, I wasn't trying to fucking kill the child, so
Well,
trying to
look
dodge
at
the
that thing.
child.
you didn't save the child either, so
okay. Look, we can only try so much here before my crazy ass friend kicks in and says blood or Glock. All right, I mean,
Simply don't get hit. Problem solved.
Simply
if
refuse to get
only-
hit.
if only I had better armor that I had installed, that would be nice. But
Well,
oh
Maybe
well.
you
You
should have
shouldn't have
gotten
led.
absolutely scammed.
Dude, you-
out of
yeah.
your original armor.
Some dude came up to you, is like, I'm gonna give you some amount of gold for your very like the armor that you were like ecstatic literally 1 session before upon receiving. And you were like, this seems like a fair price, and then just immediately
This seems like business.
What
handed
happens with
it
2-week
over.
sessions? I forget things. And also, she has no sense of fucking money. Be so for real.
It's so funny.
Crazy.
I was like, I'm just gonna say this because it's gonna be funny, and she'd be like, no shot. And then you're like, yes, and I'm like, that's crazy. All right, well,
The fucking magic ass. Look, we can't be having magic ass signatures on us.
oh my gosh, you saw him like
Magic ass
making
signatures.
stuff in his like magic forge too. That's crazy.
I know, that's the worst part.
Oh
Worst
well.
part by far.
At any rate, it was a good session today. It was great. Everyone did great. It was a little dialogue heavy. I definitely Thorn and Rago
Sorry,
were
girls.
scared. I feel like I was feeling fear
You're
from
just
them.
alive for the ride.
I was trying to figure out if there was any place where I could like throw in a quick jab, but
Yeah,
with how,
there wasn't.
Yeah.
There wasn't
How-
much.
quick the conversation went from 0 to 60. I was like, I might get
Like-
executed. I might get executed here if I say something.
there you go.
I was also like, I'm like, you know, Agatha's like having her like battle of like beliefs with this guy. So I'm like, I have no hat to throw in here.
I know.
Battle of moral quandaries.
I don't.
Like,
Thorn knows nothing about morals or religion, so he was out of his depth.
I avoid religion on purpose.
Understandable.
That's true.
There is no money involved, so.
Fair. All right, I have to
Oh.
go pick up my sister. So
Sounds
it was
good.
Gaming,
Yes.
but I gotta bounce.
Do you want to give us
Alright.
an animal
Animal.
photo before you
Animal.
leave?
Of course.
Animals.
Aminal.
Give me-
Animal.
Give me a.
Animal.
Let me find the animal. Let me see. Let me see what we got in my arsenal.
Animal.
Animal.
Aminal.
That's not the
Aminal.
animal I want.
Oh wait,
you
can
can have
Like the man, the
this
animal.
sad little guy.
Okay.
Sad little man.
What's
He
she
has to
sad
have-
for?
He's sad because he keeps scratching open the wound on his shoulder, so we had to put vet wrap on him so he wouldn't bust open
Oh.
his shoulder, and he's so
Whoopsie.
sad about it. But he's okay.
Oh, nice.
Maybe
Well, as long as he's okay.
He's
He's okay, he'll be fine.
sad. He's a sad little guy.
He's a very
Alright.
sweet little guy, but he is
He's
so
like,
sad.
how could you do this to me?
Well,
I know. All right.
thank you to Frogs for joining our session. Of course,
Thanks for
always a
hanging
pleasure.
out.
We will
Catch you
let
guys later.
you
Bye.
run off.
Bye.
Adios.
Bye.
Adios.
We also have 2 streamers here, other than myself, of course. You know me. You found me. I'm not going to tell
I
you
don't know you.
anything. In fact, maybe go fuck yourselves. I don't know. Maybe you should. There you go. That's me. But
That's crazy.
Absolutely bananas.
we do have some slightly more friendly faces here. Starting first with the one who streams more.
That would be me.
That is right. It's right.
That's absolutely
Master.
wild. I stream every day, 24/7.
Oh, of
Bitch,
course.
where?
Where can they find you, Red?
You can find me at twitch.tv/redmatch77 on Twitter at the same handle. We try to be on there a lot. We make the funnies happen. We make the feels good. Yeah, I'm just enjoying the flow of the river, so to speak, right now.
Hell yeah. That's how it goes, mama. All right.
Mhm.
And also we have Ando. Ando, where can they find you?
Hi, you can find me at twitch.tv/Andotillan, ANDOTILN. I do it on the sometimes.
Guys, make
can
sure you
also
have
find me-
notifications on for Ando for the
Yeah.
one time a year where he goes.
No, you don't need them, don't worry.
Go on. Yeah.
You
If
can
you-
also find me on the Twitter, Andotillan, and that's it. That's the only places
Yeah.
I ever do anything. So, just never.
If you can get on, if you ever want to get into Ando's DMs, just send him some pictures of your feet. He loves feet.
Yeah,
That's
true.
This man loves feet. Loves them.
Instant
Can't get enough
block.
of them.
Instant block.
Don't actually do that. He'll probably block you. Anyways,
Instant block.
it was a pleasure.
Someone actually did that to me once, and I blocked them.
Oh, that's huge.
I was like, my dude, this was a bit. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Oh,
No.
poor Ando. He probably printed those feet out and put it on his wall just to say,
No.
but he had to save face.
I actually threw out my whole computer and got a new one.
Damn, that's crazy.
I had to make sure.
All right. Well, great session today. Love these guys. Give them a follow. Tell them a hi, and I'll catch everyone later. Adios.
Tell me a hi? What the fuck?
Dude, I'm ready. I just got done DMing a session. Okay.
Okay,
Adios,
guys.
everyone.